Now here's one of those videos you might kind of call quick, look surprised. Quick, be shocked at what I'm going to tell you. As your facial expression stays the same because you are so used to this crap. New Department of Homeland Security emails reveal efforts to rush citizenship grants due to the election nearing. Hold on. There's an effort to rush citizenship grants due to the election. The headline tells you everything you need to know. They want a whole bunch of voting people, immigrants, to vote for who? Currently, well, the Democrats in this case. Do I think that if Republicans were in charge all over the place, that this would be no different? You know, in other words, we had a Republican president, and he's got his Republican picks of Department of Homeland Security head, IRS head, federal, all this crap. Do I think that they would play differently? Let me ask you that in a different way. You've got the Gambino crime family, and you got the Gottis. When you look deeper, they work together. But on the surface, it's the Gambinos and it's the Gottis, two different mob families, man. Every now and then, one becomes more powerful than the other. But the Gambinos, they wouldn't resort to this kind of thing. The Gottis, they would do it. Not the Gambinos, though. They're good, good background. Point being, both families would do it. They both, we're talking the mob. And we really are talking the mob. Because when I say the Department of Homeland Security or federal employee or president or club or Congress or political, we are talking about the mob. These mobsters wear nice suits. They pretend to represent a certain state. They pretend to have your best interest in mind. Like this. We're going to rush what normally would be illegal immigrants. Rush them getting citizenship. Mr. and Mrs. Immigrant, our president, he's a Democrat. You know his stance on immigration. Oh, yes, we do. We're so thankful. You know who his replacement is on his side, don't you? Oh, Hillary. Good. Come on over. I'd like to get you approved today for citizenship. By the way, our elections start in November? Oh, we're well aware. Good. Come on over. I'll rush this one through. Hold on. You want to cough loudly into that mic? Just a couple of days ago, this is from Zero Hedge, of course. Just a couple of days ago, we noted that the Department of Homeland Security had, and I did the video, mistakenly granted citizenship to over 850 immigrants from countries of concern to national security. Not just any immigrant. Middle East, Syria, well, we can't ever include Syria because we got these poor women and children. Remember what Barack said? The Republicans are worried about little women and young women and children coming over. Excuse me, I'm watching the videos of the immigrants, the same ones you're speaking of, in other countries, our buddies over in the Western world, European Union zone, and I find very few women and children, and find fighting age young men, quite honestly, to be outnumbering everybody else. And not only that, there's a lot of African refugees, not Syrian. Who cares about facts? Never let facts get in the way of a good story. So, just a couple days ago, we noted that the Department of Homeland Security had mistakenly granted citizenship to over 850 immigrants from countries of concern to national security, even after they had been flagged for deportation by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. Now, newly disclosed Department of Homeland Security emails indicating a rush to process as many citizenship cases as possible due to the election year may help explain why so many mistakes were actually made. Or were they not mistakes? A recent letter from Senator Chuck Grassley Republican, Iowa, to the Department of Homeland Security, expressed concerns over the newly revealed emails and whether there may be efforts within U.S. Customs and Immigration Services to naturalize as many potential voters as possible before Election Day, per Grassley's letter, which can be read in its entirety below. Someone in the Houston USCIS field office sent the following email to office staff asking employees to consider working overtime in order to process as many naturalization applications as possible before the election. And when they say overtime, these employees are getting overtime paid, and they're federal employees. You know, they're making a couple of dollars. Who's paying for their overtime pay? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if it's you. Let me make it easy. Are you an American citizen? Your hand's being raised whether you just did so or not. So I don't want to hear any complaining that you pay too much taxes, there's too many fees, you don't have enough money, you're working paycheck to paycheck. I don't want to hear that. We got to pay them federal employees overtime pay to bring in immigrants and give them citizenship in a hurry because the elections are right around the corner. So how do we know that that's why they were in a hurry? Let's continue reading. So here's one of the emails that went out. The field office, due to the election year, answered. The first few words, answered. We now know why. The field office, due to the election year, needs to process as many of their N-400 cases as possible between now and fiscal year 2016. In other words, time's ticking, because you know the fiscal year stops early, not at the end of December. If you have any cases in this category or other pending, you are encouraged to take advantage of the overtime if you can. This will be an opportunity to move your pending naturalization cases. If you have not volunteered for overtime, please consider and let me know if you are interested, end quote. Another person within the Houston field office forwarded the message saying, quote, "It's the end of the year, crunch time." Now, let me stop for a second. Houston. Where is Houston? Oh, Texas. Texas is not a normal state that joined the Republic at the time. United States became whatever, I don't know what state, what number Texas is as far as, it's the 48th state or, 49th state to join. I don't know. Don't care. They joined by treaty. Nobody else did. Florida, nobody. Only Texas was done by some type of a weird treaty. So it's really easy for Texas to get out of there if they don't like what they see. And recently, they're threatening, the governor of Texas threatening, we're about to completely drop out of the immigrant plan. You're not bringing any of them into our state. That's what they're saying. So I have to ask Texas, governor and all, how does this make you feel that a federal agency that you've allowed to be in your state by treaty is actually working against what you believe in? Right in your own state. Houston, we have a problem. Speaking of Houston. So the other one, again, forwards the message saying, "It's the end of the year, crunch time." I couldn't have said it better. It's the end of the year, crunch time. So let's get crunchy. Go Team Houston. Thanks for all your hard work. Grassley's letter to Jeh Johnson of the Department of Homeland Security blasts efforts to hastily grant citizenship as, quote, "an attempt to create as many new citizen voters as possible," end quote. "We write to express serious concern about an apparent push by your department to rush the adjudication of naturalization applications before the upcoming presidential election, presumably in an attempt to create as many new citizen voters as possible. You know what the response is going to be? We don't want to create as many new citizens as possible to vote because we're at such an important time that happens every 4 years. These citizens are close to getting their citizenship anyway. These immigrants are close to getting it anyways. We want them to hurry the process up so that they have an opportunity to participate in such a great thing being in America, which is voting. Not for political purposes, just to give them their rights as fast as we can. And what better way to do it when there's an election season, cycle going on for the president? We don't buy that. But that's my reason, and you can't prove me wrong. F off, Senator. That's what they're going to say. Grassley also points out that this is not the first time efforts have been taken to rush the approval of citizenship applications for election purposes. Now, this is an interesting time frame. Apparently, some efforts were made ahead of the 1996 election, when citizenship grants soared by nearly 4 times. Oh, I don't need to Google this, but let's make it fun. Google, who ran for president in 1996? You're not going to remember this one, I bet. Nominee party, Democrat, Bill Clinton, Republican, Bob Dole. Who was it that won that one again? That's right, Bill Clinton. So the same thing happened in 1996 when a Clinton was running and won. And you mean to tell me exactly 20 years later, 2016, his wife's running and the same thing is happening? No. That comment I made about the Gambinos and the Gottis? I'm going to pull a political word out on this one. I may have misspoke. Jay Snipfor, may have misspoke. I don't see any Republicans doing this. The only example we have is a Democrat doing it in 1996, and it also just so happened to be the husband of the current running candidate, Hillary Clinton, back then, Bill Clinton. You might argue, though, Jay Snip, does it matter if the Clintons were Republicans or Democrats? They would be doing this in either case, no matter which flag they flew. Yeah, flow. And in that case, you're right. I'm reversing it back to the original Gotti versus Gambino. I'm sticking with it. Quote, unfortunately, we have been down this road before. This is his letter. In the year preceding the 1996 presidential election, the Immigration and Naturalization Service, which then was INS, the predecessor agency for USCIS, established the notorious Citizenship USA, or CUSA, initiative. Previously, the INS had been granting citizenship to 300,000 to 400,000 aliens per year. What the? But under CUSA, that increased to 1.1 million cases a year. Whoa. I'll be honest. The 300,000 to 400,000 was kind of mind-blowing to me. And that was normal. And then the year leading up, Bill Clinton, 1.1 million coming in now. Why do they do this? Because they want to show those people coming in, we got your back, we want you to join this great country. And for the most part, the people coming in don't know about all this crap that's going on here. They just think, America, chase the dream. I can't chase it in my home country. I'm coming there. I want to try to strive for that and get that American dream if I can. It's got to be better than what I got at home. I'm coming over. You know who let you over, didn't you? Oh, you Democrats did. In this case, Bill Clinton. Good. The elections are coming up. Who are you going to vote for? Don't tell me. We already know. So it's now 1.1 million. And that's like normal? Whoa. The apparent push to naturalize as many aliens as possible in time for them to vote in the election resulted in cut corners that endangered national security and public safety. Any other election year, this news might be shocking, but for this year, for some reason, we're truly not terribly surprised. Senator Chuck Grassley's letter to the Department of Homeland Security, which they link here, I'm going to link to the Zero Hedge so you can read this in full, but at the very end, he says, we sincerely hope history is not repeating itself. Therefore, please explain what you are doing or will do to reassure adjudicators that naturalization applications should not be rushed for inappropriate political reasons. Please also explain what steps you are taking or will take to ensure our committees and the American people that background and fingerprint checks will not be weakened, ignored, or completely eliminated. Additionally, we would appreciate an opportunity to interview the author of the July 21st email identified as a branch chief in the USCIS Houston field office. That's how he ends his letter. We ask that you respond. This is the final piece. We ask that you respond to our concerns as soon as possible, but not later than October 1st. And as I'm doing this video, it's the 25th of September. Clock's ticking. If you have any questions, please contact Kathy Newable Kovarik of the Judiciary Committee, leaves a phone number, or Brooke Erickson at this number of the Department of the Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. Thank you for your attention to this important matter. Sincerely, Chuck Grassley. What's going to happen? Well, we won't reply. We'll let them subpoena us. We'll do this. We'll come up with a nonsense story like I already gave you. Sir, we weren't trying to increase the number for voting purposes. We were just trying to increase the number to get this backflow we have kind of caught up. And we felt like it'd be such a great time to let these newly, or we'll call them new citizens, that just received their citizenship, to immediately go out and vote. What a better way to welcome somebody into your country by saying, hey, you're now a citizen. You get to participate in our democracy. That's why we did it, sir. That's why. In other words, we don't want them to just vote for Clinton. We want them to have an opportunity to vote for Donald Trump too, whoever they choose. That's why we're doing this. Right. Anyways. Another day in paradise. Welcome to paradise.